Welcome to the 2019 ABCA convention here in Dallas, Texas. Hanging out with Shaun Larkin, coordinator of skill development. Lark, thanks for jumping on with us.
Oh man, exciting time of year right now, that's for sure.
It is. Well, it's exciting for you because you got a couple of new things that get ready to happen at this convention. You're actually going to go up there on that main stage. You fired up?
I am right now. We'll see how it goes tomorrow, but it's been a lot of fun getting ready for. I know my 2-year-old and 6-month-old have heard the presentation a handful of times now.
For sure.
My wife thinks it's pretty good, so my support group is all in, so should be a lot of fun tomorrow. Yes.
Here's the beauty of talking with you, and you've already come on the podcast before, but here's the beauty of it, is your experience across pretty much every level, but especially on the college level, and coming and being part of these events, being here at convention. How much different has the convention experience been for you throughout the years, especially from year one compared to this year where you're a crusty veteran?
Yeah, I think just the growth of it's obvious. The amount of coaches that are showing up to these. The other main one is just the social media, how much of an impact that's had through the podcast, just through Twitter in general.
Yeah.
People sharing the ideas and tagging each other and looking forward to see each other while we're here. How this happen is growing exponentially. So even if you're not able to make it up one particular year, you're still a part of it.
Sure.
Based on how much it's being reported and it's broadcast through different avenues, which have been really cool to watch how it's all grown over the course of the years, and just the amount of information, the quality of information.
Yeah.
From now, we're talking about technology now in these conferences.
No doubt.
And how to use them and different ideas on how to track data, and come a long way from T-drills.
That's right.
Back in the day, what T-drills were we using, what soft toss drills were we using, to now it's, you're using T's still?
Right.
What are you doing?
Right.
And the growth of the information and just, again, the community of coaches coming together over the years has been incredible to watch and be a part of.
That's such a neat concept, because when you think about how much the game has grown within coaching dialogues, like it's one thing to come to this show and again you see pockets around the convention and you know those guys are having baseball conversations, but the shift, and especially through social media's lens, the shift has really gone a different direction. Like I said, 10 years ago, it was basics, the basics of base running, the basics of hitting, the basics of infield play, and everything seems to have sharpened. And then obviously where you sit, because you're in this world, everything's tracked, everything's measured, everything's data driven.
Absolutely.
How has that challenged you as a coach?
It's not really a challenge. I think I come from the standpoint of it's only a help. I know Jason Ochar talks about it a lot. It's not going to replace anything. It's just a way to measure what you're doing. Is it working? Are we going down the right lane, the right path?
It can enhance your coaching.
Absolutely.
Yep.
If you take it through that lens, I think it's great. There's nothing. The only thing challenging about it sometimes is how to use it,
right?
And when to utilize the information. I think that's the most challenging part. Is the gathering of the information and tracking. That's the easy part. It's when to implement it and what to say and when, and what information you want to give the players or not. That becomes a challenge. And I think the teams and organizations and coaches who are able to leverage that the right way are the ones that take the steps further, not the ones who have all the gadgets and the sensors and the TrackMans and Rapsodos. That's part of it.
Yeah.
That's the puzzle box. Now you got to put the puzzle together now.
That's it.
So that's the challenging part for all of us. And I still think if you're doing things the right way, you're always trying to fine-tune what you're doing, and now technology is the next part of it. How do we use this the right way? And there may not be an answer, and that's okay.
Right.
But
We're
that's why these
conferences
are so great. Right. Is there an absolute truth? Probably not. But can we get closer to what we think could be the truth? I think that's what these conventions are incredible for. And like you said, those side conversations and guys just trying to dig a little bit deeper and taking a deeper dive to get closer to what is most beneficial for ultimately our players.
That's it.
And that's what we're all in this for. So
a couple buzzwords that came out of that was actually the buzzwords that make up the title of the Technology Clinic: how to leverage technology to enhance and strengthen your program. So appreciate you dialing that in. I think I keep going back to this is when you used to come, and obviously as a college coach, as a high school coach, now coming as a professional coach, when you think about takeaways, I think that's always something that a convention goer, what are they bringing in their bag, in their mind? What are they taking back to their programs? What are some of those key takeaways? Let me put it this way. 3 moments where you took away like a takeaway and it changed the way you coached. Can you pinpoint something like that for me? I'm really putting you on the spot here, Lark.
Okay. I mean, I think
as an LA Dodgers shirt walks by,
there you go, huh? I think for me, when I used to come to these, it was some drills and stuff, but I think listening to guys like the Ken Revisas and the mental skills talks and just really how to approach a player and put it in perspective of how we're really a major part of experiences.
Yep.
and how we go about coaching and the interactions we have and the language we use, we're creating experiences for our players.
That's
and
it.
I think that's the biggest thing that I always took away from these is like, how am I impacting my players, not just as a player, because we know the chances of moving on to the higher levels get smaller and smaller as you move, but the impact you can have on a life down the road. And there's experience in baseball. They're talking to their kids about this down the road. Like,
that's right.
My experience playing baseball was X. And we want to grow the game. That experience should be good for the player. And I think those are the biggest ones for me, listening to the revisas and all the other mental skills talks, I think, are the biggest ones I took away from that. That it really impacted how I approach player development.
Well, I was getting ready to say, they've really shifted and morphed what you're doing right now.
Absolutely.
So all that comes into play. What have been some of the things, I think it's almost like point to something recently that's really challenged you in the game, or something that's really forced your hand to go, you know what, I've always said it that way, taught it that way, thought it was this way, but what's something that's maybe, I know I'm putting you on the spot. We ask the tough questions here, Lark.
Yeah.
But I'm interested because I think to accentuate the point that we need to be in a state of lifelong learning, there's always something. You can always point to something. What do you got for me?
I tell you, I think just the trend now, the skill acquisition, skill design, practice design, skill transfer, and I get caught a lot, and that's my bread and butter right now. I've read a lot of different things, and I can say really cool words, but I get caught with the traditional
pedagogy.
Right. I'll get into that tomorrow.
Okay. All right.
I get caught with the foundational principle of the rep after rep. That's how I was brought up, and I do think there's value to that. And I also understand the value of the creative, challenging environments, and having it be ugly and messy sometimes. And I get caught, and I do struggle with getting too far on one end of the spectrum.
Okay.
It's something I continually challenge myself to be cognizant of the value of both and how to balance the two.
I was going to say, you're trying to always get back to balance.
Balance with the particular infield group or a hitter or a pitcher or a coach and explaining these concepts to it. And they ask the same questions. Like, well, we've seen it work in this environment. So balancing, understanding there's a difference between evidence-based research and practice-based evidence.
That's it.
There's a difference,
Good way
right?
of putting it.
Trusting your experiences of your coaching and knowing something works, but also knowing when to turn the page and go a different route with a particular player or group. That is constantly challenging me. Trying to find that balance. And the answers aren't always in a book or in a research paper. Challenging myself on, okay, great research in a lab or an experiment. How does this actually play out in the applied setting in our arena of baseball? And then even further in professional baseball.
That's right.
So those challenges are very great, and it's not something it's not a tough question. It's a really easy one to answer. What challenges me daily, and I think that is the crux of it for me at this particular point in time now.
Gosh, okay. So if we're looking ahead to the convention schedule and we see you up on that main stage, give me the elevator pitch. If any coach is listening to this, what's the elevator pitch? Hey, come check this out because you're really going to enjoy it.
Yeah, I tell you, I think mine will be a different swing on what people have heard in the past at these conventions. It's not about a technique, or it's not about a drill set. It's not about mental skills. It's not motivational by any means. It's a different lens. It's behavior and why behaviors happen, how we can change behavior, our own as coaches. It's going to create some awareness for ourselves on how we behave.
It's going to challenge some guys.
Absolutely. It's going to challenge some really traditional thinking.
Yes.
It may be uncomfortable, which I have some stuff designed for that. So it is. It's a different thing that I think has ever been talked about at a convention like this in terms of, again, not only behavior as the surface level, but also behavior on the baseball field in terms of skill acquisition and skill development. So looking to really blend the two together, it's going to be really heavily based on behavior and why behaviors happen. We'll talk about functions of behavior, motivations, context, and culture, and how that can impact how you handle your teams now in the future, how you recruit, how you view your coaching staffs, and ultimately, I think, like I'm going to say, the underlying theme is going to be awareness. I'll come back to that point. How aware are we of these concepts? Again, coming from an objective standpoint, it's coming from a science. It's not going to be my subjective thought on what you should do with your program, or you should do with your coaching staff.
Good point.
That's up to you. It's going to be more of an awareness from a science on strictly behavior and human behavior, which is already complex as it is.
Right.
In 35 minutes, challenging, but I will get it done.
Sure.
So that would be the pitch. It's going to be something unique, but ultimately, probably the most imperative when we understand why people tick the way they do from an objective standpoint, not just based on what we feel or assume.
Oh, love it. Okay, last question I got for you, and I'm looking at it. There's so many coaches here. We're We're trending to set brand new records this year, being our biggest convention to date. But there might be some coaches that are listening to this. They did not make the trip to Dallas. We're going back to Nashville, a city that has been so great to us over the years. Give me your pitch to them why they should make plans to join us in Nashville.
Well, for one, it's Nashville. If you've never been to Nashville,
sure.
that's one reason enough to go.
Yep.
Nashville.
Very true.
But I'd say there's nowhere else you can possibly go over a 4-day span, 5-day span, whatever it is, to get as much information, to network as much as you possibly can, to see what the next up-and-coming exhibits are, or the next technologies or equipment are in one place at one time. You are not going to find it. It's, social media is one way, but to actually see the human connection with seeing someone face-to-face, actually asking the right questions and having answers right there in person are a lot different than however many characters you get in a tweet. That is the ultimate reason to come. No matter where it's at, but especially Nashville,
for sure,
is there's no way to replicate this event other than being there.
Print it. Put it on a T-shirt, rally the troops, get them to Nashville.
Yes, sir.
Lark, thanks for stepping in with us. I know you're going to enjoy your time here in Dallas, and, man, we appreciate what you're doing for the game.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me.
Awesome.